Hello and welcome to the Kansas Speedway. It's Monday night, and that means it's time for the 2013 Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, race number 4 on the chase and week 30 of the season again here at the Kansas Speedway. Hello everybody, my name Evan Posoko. Joining me up in the booth as every Monday night, Harrison Wilets. Harrison, how you doing tonight?
All right, looking forward to a great night of racing, a difficult track.
A tricky track it should be, and it should be another exciting night of racing. But first, we're going to have to take a look back at last week's race number 29 at the Monster Mile, the Dover International Raceway. We saw a shake-up in the points when it was all said and done. 10 drivers finished on the lead lap. We'll run you through them right now. It was Dwayne Vincent picking up another win on the season. Guy Snyder, the fourth, having a solid run, finished in the second spot. Britt Van Meter finishing in third. Also, Justin Wilson coming home into fourth position. And then Jose Gonzalez took home a top 5.
Yeah, and finishing sixth was CJ LeVere, right now third in points. Rhett McBride came home in seventh. Brennan Mercer finished eighth, lost about 4 spots late in the going, was running in the top 5. Cale Dressback came home in ninth, and Rich Jett rounded out the top 10.
Your point leader going into last week's race, Chad Cole, issues early on in the opening 25 laps, gets caught up in an incident. He will finish 8 laps down. He was able to soften the blow as much as he could by standing out on the racetrack, picking up spots as cars fell off from some of the cautions that we had. So Chad Cole came home in the 18th spot, which now, if you look at our updated points again in the chase, it is now Dwayne Vincent back up top. He has 10 poles on the season, 13 wins, and 19 top 5s. Impressive stats. Vincent up front with 2,151 points. Chad Cole obviously losing ground, 16 points back in the second spot. Then we have this little bit of a gap, which we've seen pretty much after Chicagoland. You got CJ LeVere sitting in the third spot, 38 points back. Ronnie Potts sitting in the fourth spot, 43 back. And then Justin Wilson rounding up the top 5, 44 off of Vincent.
48 back is Jose Gonzalez, who definitely has the ability to get on a hot streak and make up some serious ground. John Abbott's currently sitting 7th. Guy Snyder currently 8th after a strong run last week. Mike King in 9th. We've got Steve Ritter in 10th. And then the 2 cars rounding out the chase right now are Rich Jett and Mark Bratcher.
Some of those guys obviously coming into tonight's race. This is race 4 of 10 on the chase. So out of tonight's race, 6 races remaining if you include tonight. Those guys have 7 races to get something done and try to work their way up to get to Dwayne Vincent and Chad Cole, who have pretty much broken away from the field. Obviously, Cole's incidents last week. Hopefully, he's hoping that's his only mulligan. That's the only mistake pretty much that he'll have on the chase. And then he'll be pretty much set. Obviously, 10 races, anything can go with 7 remaining. It's still a long way to get to that checkered flag and take home the Marlboro Racing VRC Mark II virtual racing seat, which the winner at the end of the season will get. Tonight, it's Kansas Speedway. We're here for 107 laps and at a 1.5-mile racetrack. That means these drivers are going to be going 160 miles tonight at the Kansas Speedway at over 160 miles an hour easily. Right now, the track conditions right now, partly cloudy, 78 degrees Fahrenheit, the wind to the north at 2 miles an hour, and a relative humidity at 55%. So an average night of racing on the iRacing simulator. About the Kansas Speedway in particular, located in Kansas City, Kansas. Capacity crowd of 72,000. Owned and operated by the International Speedway Corporation. Broke ground in 1999 and opened in 2001. Obviously hosting the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the NASCAR Nationwide Series, along with NASCAR Truck Series, very popular racetrack. The tri-oval itself, an asphalt surface at 1.5 miles in length, 4 turns. The turns, a little bit of progressive banking from 17 to 20 degrees. On the front straightaway, you got 9 to 11 degrees of banking, and on the back straightaway, 5 degrees.
Yeah, this is a very interesting and difficult track in iRacing. The fixed setups here that we run were actually created for the track under night conditions, and here we find ourselves running the track under daylight. And one of the things about this track is that it's very highline dependent. However, for anyone who was watching the RSR Asphalt Assault Series race last Thursday knows that pretty much any line worked. The cars were really loose in the daytime conditions, and and it was really about just finding that perfect line for your car. You could really run up high, down low, anything. However, I do think that these Cup cars are going to be a little more high line dependent than that. They're not quite as loose as the Nationwide cars are. So this is going to set up passing to be extremely difficult, and this is one of those races where you go in here expecting that it could be a really long evening, or it could be surprisingly clean, just because sometimes you go to a really difficult track and the drivers are patient because of it.
Definitely anything can happen. 107 is a long time. We had 29 drivers take time out. He may be on the pole if he can hang on for the next few laps. Looking at the chase points, obviously on the low end of the season, but still a long way to go in this chase. Harrison, I want to get your take on some of these guys that are down near the bottom of the chase standings. Obviously, the top 12. Mark Bratcher in 12th spot, 72 back. Rich Jet, 67 back, and then you have King and Ritter. Ritter doing good tonight so far, but Mike King and Steve Ritter, 62 back. Do these guys really stand a chance? There's a lot of racing to go, but that's a pretty big deficit. And when you look at the guys in front of them, what's your take on that situation, considering how far back they are? I mean, there's still a lot of racing to go, but I don't know. Do you think they'll be able to do it?
You know, it's one of those things where they definitely need some help. They definitely need some help to get them in a position where they can race for it. Right now, they're more than a race out, about a race and a half out of the lead. So they do need some bad luck or some bad races on behalf of Dwayne Vincent and Chad Cole. And then third on back is relatively close, all within about 25, 30 points. But if you look at a guy like Steve Ritter, you know, he had his inconsistencies throughout the year, but he had two wins on the year, 8 top 5s. That's a driver who was no stranger to running up front. So looking at the guys running towards the back half of the chase, I think the two to watch out for are Guy Snyder and Steve Ritter. Both drivers can really pull out some great finishes, and all they need is a little luck on their side.
And they're going to definitely need some help in order to get to that point. But hey, Talladega the week after next, really anything can happen at that race. So I don't really want to call anybody out of it yet. But I mean, if those guys really don't step up and start knocking off some top 5s, top 10s here, and we don't see some major issues with Vincent, Cole, LeVere, Potts, those guys all running up in the top 5 positions, it's going to be definitely a really big hill to climb. However, we're getting ready to get to race time, so we're going to now send it down trackside for the national anthem performed by the Cactus Cuties.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
And thank you to the virtual Thunderbirds for that flyover. It is going to be Steve Ritter taking pole position with a lap time of 30.202 seconds. He's going to be starting in the inside of row number 1. Starting outside, shotgun on the field, the 15 of Rhett McBride.
In row number 2, we've got the points leader, Dwayne Vincent, alongside second man in points, Chad Cole.
Starting in the 5th position, the number 07, making his season debut, Parker Kligerman. There's a name that many people will know. Starting in the 6th spot, the number 10, John Abbott.
3rd place in points, CJ LaVere will be starting this race from 7th. Ronnie Potts, 4th in points, starting 8th.
Then you got the 91, Steve Gottschalk, inside row 5 in the 9th starting position. Starting 10th, the number 33 of David Lanza.
Cal Dresspack will be starting the number 45 car in 11th. And Mark Bratcher, fastest car in practice, not the qualifying run he wanted, but starting 12th.
Starting in the lucky 13th position, opposite of that, the number 31, Jonathan Cadell. In the 14th spot, it's going to be the number 5 of Bill Tomer.
Mike Montesi will be starting in 15th, alongside of him, the 57 of Ryan Vaughn.
Starting in the 17th spot, the number 43 of Doug Ross. Starting 18th, it is the number 25 of Nick Silver.
Glenn Campbell will be starting 19th tonight, alongside of him, the 66 of Brian Harvey.
One driver looking to move up through the field in the coming laps, and starting in the 21st position, the 26, Jose Gonzalez. Starting in the 22nd, first car that did not take a time in qualifying, the 58 of Justin Wilson.
Row number 12 has the 04 of Mike King and the 27 of Guy Snyder.
The more fast cars deep in the pack, starting 25th, the 36 of Rich Jett, and 26, the number 11 of Britt Van Meter.
Starting 27th will be Douglas Wyatt, and alongside of him, the 65 of Ed Williams Jr.
Rounding off the field, the 29th car that will be participating in today's race. It is the 62 of John Wilco, looking to improve that as the night goes on. Again, 107 laps at this cookie cutter 1.5 mile racetrack, Kansas Speedway, one of the newest tracks on the iRacing service. And it is going to be Steve Ritter leading us to the green flag. Race number 4 on the chase with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. The field is working their way through turns 3 and 4, and the crowd starts to rise to their feet. All eyes are on the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car as it exits the corner. Down to pit road it goes. The field in the hands of Steve Ritter. He's waiting. There he goes. The 16 is off. The green flag is out, and we're green from Kansas Speedway. Steve Ritter pulls away to a lead, and now we're side by side for 3rd.
Yeah, I got to give the advantage to the high side. Steve Ritter just jumping way out. But I tell you, look at Dwayne Vincent get that run through 1 and 2. That 13 car trying to clear the 15 of Rhett McBride, which he does. And so Chad Cole in the number 8 now working underneath Rhett McBride for 3rd position. But Dwayne had a good start, able to get himself right behind the leader. And now Cole is on that low side, which is a little bit of a disadvantage. That high side could just carry momentum as actually the number 16 of Steve Ritter gets really loose out of turn number 4. That opens the door for the 13 of Dwayne Vincent, who's going to take the lead.
Vincent, powerful move on the top side, is going to now pick up the number 1 spot. The 8, Chad Cole, continuously trying to get that spot away from the 15 of Rhett McBride to no avail. The 15 is going to get the run off the corner, and now Chad Cole has some more competition from the 07 of Parker Kligerman on the top, right up to that wall. Chad Cole carrying speed on the bottom of the racetrack, but it's off the corner where that top line prevails, and they're going to be side by side by the stripe. You see Cole go all the way down to the grass, trying to get as much speed as he can into 1.
Yeah, and looking at Parker Kligerman in that 07, trying to take away that 4th position. Now, he wasn't the fastest guy in practice, and he certainly wasn't the fastest guy in qualifying, but he's a driver who adapts really quickly. And so you can't count him out ever. If he's ever down on speed, he usually can find it during the race. And if he can't, he usually can make an odd strategy work out in his favor. So Kligerman will be one to watch as Chad Cole gets a really big run down the front stretch. But just it's a little too high. The number 8 of Chad Cole just gets loose, looking above that new Intelligent Chevy of Kligerman, and has to come back in line in position number 5.
Taking a look through the field, everybody pretty much single file, but a lot of shuffling. Everybody taking a look to the inside, a very racy racetrack, you could say. Now the battle back on for the 4th spot. The 8, Chad Cole trying to make something work on the bottom again of the 07 of Kligerman. You see the 8, he got it there on entry. Normally he loses on the exit, but he's got the run by the stripe. He had the advantage that time to take lap 5. Let's see what happens in 1. You see the 8, Chad Cole, throw it in there on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get clear and try to slide up in front of the 07. He doesn't have the speed, and now Kligerman getting the run off 2 is going to clear Cole, and now Cole, after making that move, may be under attack, because here comes the 2 of Ronnie Potts, only a car length off his back bumper.
Yeah, Chad Cole in the number 8's feeling a little bit desperate because he knows Dwayne Vincent is in the lead and he doesn't want to give up any more points. And so he's trying everything he can to get by that 07 of Kligerman, not able to get it done at this point, and so he tucks back in line, and now Kligerman starts inching away from him as they are single file. Steve Ritter actually in second just scrapes the wall but has it saved. It was not too much of a close call, just a little bit of lost momentum for the 16 of Ritter, but Dwayne Vincent right now just unchallenged out front by a good 10 car lengths.
We got a big battle for 8th spot. The 10, John Abbott, under attack from the 4, CJ LeVere. They are side by side. Near contact behind them, the 31, Jonathan Cadell, in 11th spot, is in the infield grass. Hangs onto it on the apron. Very loose race car. Jonathan Cadell hangs onto it after sliding up off of turn number 4. He's going to hang onto it, and the green flag will stay out, but that race car is going to go all the way to the end of the lead lap, and that's going to break up that battle that we have. We're seeing lots of drivers. Actually, a huge pack. Look at the 11th place car, the 5, Bill Tomer, almost 3 wide. You got the 26 in there, the 45, the 20, the 58, all 2 wide off 2. Now the 20 car of Mike Montesi almost gets into the back of the 5. Tomer could not get the grip off 4. And now here comes the 27 of Snyder into this. This is madness all around the 18th position here. A huge pack of cars.
Wow. Certainly a lot of madness going on, and as the 27 slips in a view trying to get underneath the 5, it was a great save by the 31 of Jonathan Cadell, who knew he slid up and apologized over the radio to the car, who actually ended up getting into the back of him because he just cut him off. But now most of these guys retreating back to the high side is Guy Snyder, who started towards the back of the field up in 24th position, up to 19th or 18th right now, trying to get that run on the number 5 of Tomer. And just not able to quite clear him yet, but this is some great battling going on through the middle of the pack. Actually a few cars ahead of them, the number 26 of Gonzalez right now working on Cale Dressback. Now Gonzalez in the 26 is one of those guys who started in the back, and he's just looking to work his way forward. Gonzalez started in 21st up to 14th, and so at a track where we talked about where passing might be kind of difficult, Gonzalez is working his way forward.
And definitely, Gonzalez right on his bumper is the 58 of Justin Wilson. Again, this is really all a battle for the 13th spot. And then you have the 25 of Silver, just a couple car lengths in front of them, occupying 12. That looks like 26 Gonzalez, maybe a little bit slightly faster, trying to find a way around the 45. Again, you can really run anywhere you want on the racetrack, but it's really going to affect your exit. That's why we saw Chad Cole struggling to hold off Kligerman earlier on that inside lane, because you just don't get the run. The 26 is now going to look to the inside. Jose Gonzalez, he sees the 45, gets up behind the 25 of Silver. So Gonzalez trying to capitalize. 45 actually in the wall. Cale Dresbach making contact with that outside wall off 2. And now look for the 26 of Gonzalez to try to make a move. He's going to go in there side by side in turn 3 as the 25 of Silver's in the wall in front of him.
Yeah, there's a lot of grip the closer you get to the wall. That's why you're seeing a lot of these guys just push it a little bit too far. It's kind of like if you miss the corner when the preferred groove's on the bottom, you just slide up that little bit. The problem is when you're running up against the fence, sliding up a little bit means you're going to scrape the wall, and so we've seen a lot of drivers hit it. The 25 of Nick Silver in front of this battle as the 45 of Dressback hits the wall again. But the 25 of Silver looks quite loose himself. This sort of opens the door for Gonzalez to get a run, as both Gonzalez and Wilson in the 58 looking for a way around these guys, but Gonzalez, we see him getting really loose off of turn number 4. That opens the door above him for the 58 of Wilson to try to sneak his way by.
Side by side for third, the 15, Rhett McBride backing off and allowing Steve Ritter to pick up that position. Chad Cole's going to make his way around. Fastest car on the track last lap was Dwayne Vincent. Second fastest car, the 07 Parker Kligerman, has gone from the 5th spot to 2nd position in the last 3 laps, making his way around these guys. Now we're side by side again for the 6th spot. The 2 Ronnie Potts is going to drop off and now pulling behind Rhett McBride in the 15. All these guys got bunched up as Dwayne Vincent has been slowly trying to pull away and gain a little bit of a lead. But if you ignore that, lots of battles on the racetrack. Again, keep an eye on that 26 Jose Gonzalez. The 58 Justin Wilson, 15th position, actually just went around Gonzalez off of 2. Possibly Gonzalez working a little bit too hard on the back bumper. That 45 of Dresbach dropped his guard on that car behind him, but nonetheless, Justin Wilson in the 58 moving up to the 14th spot. 45 real loose off of 4. That's Cale Dresbach all the way down to the apron, so he's going to now lose 2 spots. A tricky track on the exit of these corners, and they're actually side by side behind it with Mike Montesi and Guy Snyder.
Yeah, Guy Snyder, the 27, looking underneath the 20 car. Montesi just not enough forward drive off, but he keeps his nose there so that he can try again in turns number 3 and 4. And the 45 of Dresbach holds up Montesi a little bit. Snyder looks for the slide job. It's not there. He has to keep himself low. That was kind of a close call there. But when we saw the 45 get loose out of turn number 4, that just seems to be the preferred place to make a pass here. We've seen more than a few times guys just get really sideways out of turn number 4, and that opens the door to go high, as these cars certainly want to be high. That's the easier place to make a pass here at Kansas.
One car slow up on the wall. It's the 04 of Mike King running in the 22nd position last time by the stripe. Had some issues, kept it up there to avoid getting loose coming off the wall and possibly causing an incident. So the right side of that 04 of Mike King obviously can have some damage. Not too sure how extensive that is. It didn't really look like he slapped it, just kind of got stuck on it for a little bit. Ended up losing 5 spots in that deal at the back of the pack. Right now, the leader's running lap times around the 31 second range for Dwayne Vincent. Last car in the lead lap, the 57 of Ryan Vaughn. Right now, 19 seconds back, so all 29 cars on the lead lap at this point. As we work lap number 17, we're going to step away and take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the more green flag racing at the Kansas Speedway. You're watching the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series race for the Cup, so to speak, at Kansas on ETV Live. We'll be right back.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
The caution flag out at the Kansas Speedway. You're taking a look at the replay on lap 20. We went 3 wide in turn number 4 with the 43, the 44, and the 31 running around the mid-pack. 44 got knocked around after sliding up the racetrack, and the 43 of Roth came down a little bit. Can't really make that thing stick 3 wide off 4, and that put the 44 of Glenn Campbell hard into the outside wall. which puts us under our first caution of the night. The leaders coming down pit road: Dwayne, Vincent, Kligerman, Ritter, McBride, and Potts. The top 5 entering, looking probably for 4 tires and fuel. Let's see who wins the race off pit road after their stops.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if anyone went with 2 tires here, although now is a good time to try it out with still about 80 laps to go, 85 laps to go. Some of these guys might try as the 15 of McBride actually overshoots his pit stall, might lose himself about a second or 2, which could be costly on the exit to pit road. But I don't see anyone going for 2 tires as of yet. Ronnie Potts actually looks like Dwayne Vincent also missing his stall a little bit, losing some time there, will give up positions, but that does not give the lead to Parker Kligerman. It looks like actually a speeding penalty possibly for... I'm sorry, I thought the 26 had a speeding penalty, but I think he just had to let the 07 of Kligerman go. But Steve Ritter comes out of pit road with the lead with the best pit stop of the bunch.
Definitely out of pit road, it will be the 16 of Steve Ritter, followed by, I do believe it is the 07, I do want to say maybe the 26. Just making sure for everything to go through. Jose Gonzalez possibly taking off pit road, then the 07 Kligerman. Dwayne Vincent slid through his pit stall, coming down, trying to get everything out of it. It was actually a pretty costly move. He didn't stop it as he knew he was over, threw it right in reverse and got going. But that is going to cost him about 3 spots. The official scoring loop is letting us know the 07 of Kligerman did beat the 26 of Gonzalez off of pit road, so that does put Vincent back to the 4th spot. A little bit of a mistake. 4th place, not that bad. It could have been worse, but Vincent definitely looking to correct that as he moves on tonight in coming at pit stops. Just trying to get the feel for it. Maybe the pit box is different sizes compared to some other racetracks, but Vincent definitely obviously going to go back into the 4th position right now. Working under caution, lap 24, we saw the start of a good green flag run there. Almost about a quarter of the way through this race here. We'll be at that point in a couple laps, and lots of good, hard, and pretty wild racing so far.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good racing up front. Difficult to pass, but we've seen people pull it off. We've seen a lot of people making mistakes out of turn number 4, and one thing that's helping Dwayne Vincent out right now is that the number 8 of Chad Cole caught the wall off of turn number 4 towards the end of that 20-lap green flag run, sent him sideways down the front stretch, caught a little bit of that grass, and had to save it down the entire front stretch. So he lost a lot of track position and decided, you know what, I better get all the damage fixed that I can get fixed. And so Chad Cole will be restarting the race all the way back in 24th. And so when you're Dwayne Vincent, you look at where your main competition is right now in the running order, you don't feel quite as bad, but certainly he's pretty disappointed himself that he missed his pit stall, but he's close enough to where he's in a pretty safe spot on the racetrack, and he'll just have to go up and get him again. We saw Dwayne did not qualify on the front row. He actually qualified 3rd, had to pass a couple of cars to get the lead, and now he's going to have to do the same.
Again, the winner at the end of the season walks away with a VRC Mark II virtual racing seat, a simulation racing cockpit designed by championship race car driver Bob Earl. Who better than a real race car driver to design a simulation racing cockpit? After all, he knows what it means to be comfortable behind the wheel. The design features a fully adjustable seat and frame. Additional monitor stands and shifter mounts are sold separately. Proud sponsor of the 2013 RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, a high quality and affordable virtual racing cockpit priced at only $349 US plus shipping. Check it out today, www.bobearlracing.com. Looking for the green. This time around the field is doubled up. The lights are off and the field is going to be in the hands of the 16 of Steve Ritter, just like at the beginning of the race. Let's see how he negotiates this restart. Remember, he controls it from pace car to green flag. The Ford First Racing Mustang pace car working off of turn number 4 down to pit road. The field bunches up behind the back bumper of Ritter. He's waiting on it, and there goes Steve Ritter. The green flag is out. He's going to open up about a 4-car length lead, and the battle's on for 2nd spot. Here comes Jose Gonzalez down to the inside, challenging Kligerman into 1.
If the low side's going to pay off, it might as well pay off on the restart. Steve Ritter has a little bit of
13
trouble.
Vincent around. Dwayne Vincent into the wall. Big wreck. Huge chase implications here. The points leader into the wall. Caution.
Wow, I can't believe what just happened. Looking back and looking at that, he just lost a lot of grip coming through turns 1 and 2. It just got sideways on him. sometimes you get used to that groove on older tires. You slap on some new tires, and you're just shocked by how the car feels. A lot of cars involved in this one. Dwayne Vincent has to be kicking himself. John Abbott involved. Mark Bratcher, 12th in points. That's not going to help him out very much tonight, but that's a really, really tough break for Dwayne Vincent. Opens the door once again. We saw him wreck at Chicagoland. We saw Chad Cole wreck last week, and now we see Dwayne Vincent once again giving up a lot of points, but he's going to try to get it fixed as much as he can, gain as much points, or not lose as many points as he can.
I cannot believe what just happened. Last week, Vincent, the beneficiary of issues with Chad Cole. Vincent into the wall hard off of turn number 2 early in the going, and with Chad Cole right now still on the lead lap. And this, if Chad Cole were to have issues tonight, this could be a mistake that everybody else is looking for. Dwayne Vincent possibly using up his mulligan. Again, you have to be almost perfect in this chase. He does have a pretty comfortable points lead back to 3rd going into tonight, but that one really stings for that 13 team. Several cars involved. It looked like he may have been looking to the inside of Clearman to try to get a run maybe, and that thing just went around sideways. He locked the wheel to the right, couldn't do anything about it. Hard contact again with that outside wall, and then they actually wrecked trying to avoid him. I know that the 38 of Bratcher swerved down, caught the 25 car, Silver managed to hang on, but Bratcher was involved. John Abbott also suffering damage. David Lanza losing the hood of that race car, and a very, very game-changing wreck here at the Kansas Speedway, and it's going to throw a curveball into the rest of the season for sure, as Dwayne Vincent in his pit stall right now sideways. They're going to see what they can do with that race car, but what a turn of events.
Yeah, when we spoke to Dwayne last week, he wasn't entirely optimistic about Kansas. It's because it's a little bit of a wild card, not as much as a wild card as Talladega, but this is a track that these guys don't have very much experience. It was recently added to the service a couple of months ago. This is the first time the RSR League has run here, and these guys don't have very much experience here to really know the nuances of the track and sometimes how the tires are going to react to the surface since they don't have that experience. And so Dwayne just sort of misjudging turns 1 and 2 just a little bit, and it's really that easy to lose one of these race cars when you're so on edge. You just step over by maybe you miss your marks by an inch or 2, and they could just send you for a ride. So Dwayne Vincent apologetic on the radio to his competitors. Doesn't sound extremely angry, just deflated and disappointed himself. Certainly knew that this is gonna really hurt him in the points, and it opens the opportunity back up for Chad Cole. But Chad Cole's going to be restarting in the middle of the pack once again, and you are vulnerable in the middle of the pack. So Chad still needs to find his way through the field and avoid all problems.
Definitely. This is going to really shake things up again. There's still 6 races to go after tonight. This can really change the whole picture of the championship. Well, taking a look at the top 5 after that went down. Steve Ritter still up front. The 07 of Kligerman in 2nd. The 26 Jose Gonzalez in the 3rd position. These were the 3 guys just in front of Vincent. Vincent spun some cars, managed to get by, including Potts and McBride. CJ Lavere, how about him? Moving up into the 6th spot. A lot of those guys, the worst place to see a wreck in front of you is off the corner, because you really can't jerk that wheel to the left because you got all that speed coming off the corner. You could spin it out, and there's nowhere to go to the right because you got that safer barrier there up against the wall. So a tough part of the racetrack to get around it, and a lot of those guys innocent bystanders. You mentioned Vincent took responsibility for the incident, but definitely a tough break for some of these drivers right now. Taking a look, 4 drivers are going to lose a lap. Actually, we're going to throw the caution flag again, so we're going to delay the restart by 1 lap, as we had the one to go last time by the stripe. As a result of that incident, 4 drivers are going to lose a lap. Mike King, John Abbott, Dwayne Vincent, and Glenn Campbell all 1 lap down, and Glenn Campbell has actually taken his car to the garage.
Yeah, the restart being delayed by 1 lap so that Mike King can get his lucky dog. Mike King gets the wave around and is sent around the pace car, though will be getting the 1 to go when they cross the stripe this time. So Mike King being back on the lead lap puts 26 on the lead lap. But there are a lot of cars damaged towards the end of that field, towards the end of the lead lap, and so Mike King, his car is pretty clean. He'll be able to start moving forward. He was one of the guys who had some issues during the green flag run, but they'll stay doubled up. They'll get the one to go this time, and this might be a benefit to Parker Kligerman that Dwayne Vincent had some trouble, because in that first run, as Kligerman started to make gains on the racetrack, it was basically a trade-off. Him and Dwayne were the two fastest cars on the racetrack, but I think Parker was starting to edge him a little bit towards the end of that run, possibly figuring it out on older tires. And so Steve Ritter will control this restart. He was a little bit loose heading through 1 and 2 last time he restarted the race. And I thought there might have been a little bit of a problem coming out of turn 2. It ended up being through 1 and 2. But Kligerman, running in second, might have the fastest car in the top 5 at this point. So it certainly changes the complexion of not only the championship, but the race as well.
And definitely, well, we're going to get it this time, but the wave round has been completed and the field is doubled up again under our second caution of the night. And for the third time, it's going to be the 16 of Steve Ritter leading the field to the green flag. Again, the 07 Kligerman on his outside. 07 did not get the start that he wanted last time, which allowed Gonzalez to battle side by side into one for that second spot. We've seen Ritter kind of wait a bit to take the green. Let's see how he negotiates it this time off turn 4. The Ford First Racing Mustang pace car up in front. There goes Steve Ritter. He's waiting, and now he's off, rather. Steve Ritter waiting a little bit less time. He's going to take the green flag, pull off to a 5-car length lead. Kligerman is going to hang on for second, and we're side by side for third. Looks like Gonzalez with the run, and he'll clear Ronnie Potts into 1.
Yeah, and Gonzalez trying to get to the high side as quickly as possible. Gets a little bit loose there, coming through turns 1 and 2, which opens the door a little bit for the 2-car. The 2 with a run down the backstretch, but decides to stay in line behind Gonzalez, heading through 3 and 4. Steve Ritter a little bit slow. The number 07 of Kligerman looking right at the back bumper of the 16 car of Ritter, looking for a way around him. He might try the low side here, entering turns 1 and 2, and they're going to be... Oh, Steve Ritter on the 16 gets loose above Kligerman. Kligerman's going to take advantage of that and get to the lead and lead his first lap if he can bring it around.
Definitely Parker Kligerman to the lead, side by side for third. The 2 Ronnie Potts with the run on Jose Gonzalez into 3. He's going to get that spot, but no, here comes Gonzalez with the run on the top. 3 wide behind him. 27 Snyder up the track, nearly hooks the Ford of LeVere. Now with a big group of cars here coming by the stripe. We're 2 wide, 2 rows deep. The Ford LeVere on the bottom of Gonzalez, sticking it down there in those white hash marks. Gonzalez all the way up to the wall. 4 can't get clear. The 27 real tight. That's Snyder. Snyder's going to drop off, and it's going to be the 26 Gonzalez prevailing on that top. And now the 15 of McBride's going to try to make something work on LeVere.
Yeah, right behind those guys, the 27 of Snyder has really built himself a reputation for not qualifying and moving through the field quickly. He started this race 24th, currently shown in 7th, looking to get some more. But they're still side by side for the 4th position. The 15 of Rhett McBride working underneath the 26 of Gonzalez. And Gonzalez gets a nice run off of turn number 2, running way high through 1 and 2. But McBride did a good job exiting 2, still keeps his car there, entering 3. As he runs the middle of the racetrack, trying to run Gonzalez a little bit higher, possibly get some more momentum, but it's not going to work. And Gonzalez takes position number 4 as CJ LeVere working on the back bumper of McBride.
And definitely trying to make that work, looking to possibly set him up. We saw the Ford just couldn't hang on to the bottom. How about these guys running right up against the wall? Heck, LeVere actually scraped the wall that time through the corner. So these guys are really going up there, trying to get as much speed as possible. We're side by side for 7th. The 91 of Steve Gottschalk under attack by the 58 of Justin Wilson, real close off of 4. Wilson able to hang tight on the bottom, and now here comes Guy Snyder in the 27 with a huge run. Now he's going to go by the 91, so Guy Snyder picks up a spot as the 58 clears the 91. 27 now trying to slide up, and he's going to hang on. A great move by Snyder to move him up into that 8th position.
Yeah, Snyder was under attack a lap or 2 ago, got a little bit of wall glue there, and lost 2 spots, had to made up 1 just now. Wilson in the 58 is another driver who started in the back of the field. He actually has come from 22nd to be running up in 7th right now, as they are closing in on the 4 of CJ LeVere. But the battle's on for second position right now. Steve Ritter in the 16 and the number 2 of Ronnie Potts are really going at it. Potts is just looking for a way around Ritter, just doesn't quite have the line. Ritter doing a good job on the high side. Potts trying to work the middle groove. Not quite there yet, but they're right on top of each other. Potts just looking for any which way to go around. Now Potts is 4th in points and trying to make up all the ground he can. He has just been one of those drivers that has been incredibly consistent this year, as Ritter gets a little bit high coming through 1 and 2, but gets that nice run off to save him down the backstretch, as Kligerman is just inching away from these guys, but the battle's on for second.
Cole may not have the race car that he's looking for to this point in the race. Again, with Vincent out, Chad Cole running in 10th. You got Ritter, Potts, Gonzalez, all of those guys up there who are in the chase trying to make something work. They could make up some much needed points tonight, depending on how these last 70 or so laps shake out, actually, as we come by. Parker Kligerman opening up a 1.3 second lead. He actually gained 4/10 on Ritter that last lap, as Ritter and Potts continue to battle for that second spot, this time by the stripe. It is going to be 77 laps to go for that 07 car of a Kligerman. 2 cautions so far in this race. Potts slowly dropping off the bumper of the 16 of Ritter. He's about 2-3 car lengths back now. 16 way up the track, almost in the wall, and now the 2 is going to get another run, and he's bringing company, because now into this hunt is the 26 of Jose Gonzalez, and not too far back, another battle between Wilson and LeVere for the 6th and 7th positions, as we're side by side. Gonzalez trying to make it work on the bottom. He's not going to get the run, so the 2, Ronnie Potts, going to hang on for now.
Yeah, Potts able to get back in front of the 26 of Gonzalez, and this is what happens very easily here when you have a lot of guys on the high line, where that high line's the place to be. When someone makes a mistake, you'll see a lot of guys go low. The pack sort of fans out a little bit, but that low line runs out of steam, and so it really worked out in Ritter's favor there to be able to hold on to that position and just use all that the high line had to offer him the corner after he lost a lot of momentum there. But certainly this is bringing a lot of guys back to him, as McBride, running in the 5th position, has also joined the fray here, as the 2 of Potts just looking for any way he can get around Ritter, but it just hasn't been there yet. But we've got Ritter, Potts, Gonzalez, and McBride 2nd through 5th running nose to tail.
And definitely, if anybody tries to make a move on the car in front of them, throw it down there to the inside, can't make it stick, they all have to keep in mind that there are more cars behind them, merely a car or 2 lengths off behind their bumper. So that's why it was interesting to see Gonzalez was able to hang on to his spot. We've seen it early in the race. Some drivers, I do believe we saw the 4, possibly LeVere, try to go to the inside, make a move, and in doing so lost some time, lost a spot, getting trapped down there on that bottom lane. The 26 Gonzalez right up to the back bumper of the 2 of Ronnie Potts, obviously trying to look for a way around, but obviously not going to use that bumper, keeping it nice and clean here, still relatively early on in the going at the Kansas Speedway. Meanwhile, Kligerman's lead has extended to 2 seconds. His last lap was 31.2. Everybody else 31.4. So you said it coming to the restart that 07, the fastest car in the top 5 right now. That is definitely true. Parker Kligerman in the 07 trying to work up a little bit of a lead. But right behind them, I mean, all these drivers, 1st through 15th, they're all pretty much running together in a big single file line, so you really don't have room for error. You're going to lose a handful of spots.
Yeah, and where you really do not want to make that mistake is coming out of turn number 4. You get loose over there, and then you are really vulnerable because it opens up that high side. So there's a lot of battling going on all the way from 6th all the way back to about 15th, as the number 11 car, that's Britt Van Meter, he is off the pace on the apron. Looks like the last time he came through turn number 4, he got a little bit loose and overcorrected into the outside wall. It sent him down in the grass. Britt Van Meter has been really solid in this RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. A lot of times just really getting some solid finishes out of race cars that utilizing strategy and just doing a really good job of keeping his nose clean. Unfortunately, tonight is not going to be one of those nights, as he's on pit road during the green flag.
And definitely finished 3rd last week, so a tough break for him and his team, a tough week at the racetrack. An unfortunate incident. I mean, we've seen several guys get loose off of those corners and just a victim of the track conditions here. Obviously a very slick track for sure. That's how we saw Vincent lose it off too. So even the best can have issues, and that's why really the great thing about racing is you'll never know what will happen. There's so many factors that play into everything. Trying to take a look right now, the battle's still on for third. It's Rhett McBride up on the back of Ronnie Potts, off by about a car length this time, coming by the start-finish line. Nobody here is really making a big move to try to go for something, but they're definitely not really leaving each other an excess amount of room. All racing each other hard, trying to pick up some spots here as we start to settle into a good green flag run that hopefully lasts a couple more laps.
Yeah, only one caution so far in this race, and this is the longest run that we have had so far. As the 57 car of Ryan Vaughn gets really loose through 1 and 2 last time, and we've had a lot of close calls here. Not too long ago, the number 20 Mike Montesi got loose out of 4, got through the grass, had his car saved, and then almost caught the 12 of Doug Wyatt as he was coming back onto the track. So a lot of close calls, but we remain green here as we're coming up just in a few more laps. We're going to be halfway through this race as I see Cadell really loose once again, but probably there's two pretty good battles going on in this on the track right now, as the 27 of Snyder picks up a spot on CJ LeVere. The number 4 car headed backwards, the number 27 of Snyder moving forwards. Looks like Snyder and Wilson sort of nose to tail working their way through the pack simultaneously, and a couple of slow cars on the apron. I believe that they're coming up on Britt Van Meter leaving pit road, but the other battle on the track still remains around the number 2 of Ronnie Potts, the number 15 Rhett McBride. These guys have been nose to tail for quite a while. Looks like McBride has the faster car right now, but it's just so difficult to pass low that you need to time your run to where you know that you can clear the driver low so that you don't give up a spot high. However, that's what's happening right here as Jose Gonzalez, the 26, gets a nose above McBride. Gonzalez is going to carry that momentum past the 15, and he's going to get the spot in this battle as they work around the slower.
Justin Wilson around.
Wow, that's going to bring out the caution, I do believe, as the car is slow, and that was in the battle for about, last time by he came across the line in the 6th position, and it was with contact. It was Guy Snyder and Wilson getting together, coming through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, I saw Justin Wilson and Guy Snyder racing each other hard for the last few laps. You mentioned trying to go through the field possibly together. 27 Snyder really threw it in there to 1 and 2, but taking a look at the replay, it just looks like the 58 may have lost count of his bearings and came down the racetrack into the 27. 27 was able to hang on to it. 58 spun that thing around in a quick 360. It kept going, avoided the wall and all other cars. Was having a great night considering the circumstances of where the top two were coming into tonight, because entering tonight's race, Justin Wilson was sitting in 5th in the points, 44 back. So was having a good night. He'll stay in the lead lap, just go put 4 fresh tires on it, and he should be all right for the rest of the race. Wave around is going to go to the 65 of Ed Williams Jr. We're going to take this opportunity to go to another quick commercial break. We'll be right back looking for the green flag at Kansas. You're watching ETV Live's live coverage of the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series.
Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live Sports Radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
And we are back live at the Kansas Speedway, working under caution. Another twist has been thrown into this race because the race leader, the 07 Parker Kligerman, catching slight contact with the wall in turn 1 just a handful of laps ago, came down pit road, took his 4 tires, and the crew taking a look at the right side of that race car, pulling the sheet metal away from the tires, and he's actually going to come back down pit road now. He was scored 16th last time by the stripes, so the 07, actually never mind, not coming down pit road, I don't know what I'm talking about, but Parker Kligerman did stay in his stall for about 5 or 6 extra seconds, which has caused him to lose over 10 spots. Harrison talked to his crew chief, confirming that they were just getting some damage fixed. So now the fastest car on the racetrack has now been put in probably the dangerous or most dangerous spot on the racetrack, and that's mid-pack.
It's going to be really hard for him to come through this pack, and certainly we have, on the restart, it's going to be 51 laps to go, which is enough time to make something happen, but he's going to lose too much time getting through the field on this restart if we remain green for the rest of the way. And certainly we've only had 2 cautions in this race, and you kind of come to expect a few more. Any race you watch, you don't really expect it to go green all the way to the end when you're at halfway. And so I'm sure none of these guys really expect to go to the checker, but we've seen it numerous times here. Even in races that don't look like they're going to be going very well, they go right to the end from halfway. As the pace car ducks in, Steve Ritter in the lead, and he is going to take off. As they come to the start-finish line, Ritter with a good start, and the battle's going to be on behind him.
And definitely looking to go side by side for second. Gonzalez going to clear Ronnie Potts going into turn number 1, and then a big group of cars sitting around the 15. Actually, Rhett McBride having some electrical issues, disappearing from the screen there for a moment. That was a tricky situation because he was side by side with LeVere. LeVere trying to make it work on the inside, and now he is under attack from the 27 of Guy Snyder.
Yeah, actually we have a side-by-side battle for the lead. Gonzalez 26 car underneath the 16 of Ritter, and he actually clears him down the front stretch, and that's going to be what he needs to be able to do to slide up in front of the 16 of Ritter, get to that high side. So Gonzalez, this is going to be his first lap that he's led this evening if he gets it back around without any pressure from the 16 of Ritter. And Gonzalez, a power move to take the lead just after this restart. Ritter catching a little bit of the wall, and now he's the 2 of Potts is looking underneath him, and they're going to be side by side for second position, but it looks like Ritter should have no problem clearing Potts down the front stretch. But Gonzalez, new leader.
15 car going to come back down onto pit road. That is Rhett McBride, who was running up front with a strong race car down pit road. Just nothing to keep an eye on. But again, up front, a great move by Gonzalez to pick up that lead position there that you touched on. Making that move on Steve Ritter, got it to stick, and that's why he's up front. 4/10 is his distance back to the second spot. Steve Ritter in the second spot. The top 3 single filed out. Now we're side by side for the 5th spot. The 4 LeVere trying to hang off a charging 36 of Rich Jet. LeVere's got to get out of the gas. He can't make it stick. So there goes Rich Jet around him, along with the 8 car of Chad Cole. That car starting to come to life. Chad Cole, if he can keep on the lead lap, will probably assume the points lead after tonight, depending on if he can finish up here strong where he's running right now. But he's been running around 10th to 15th place all night, so definitely what he's been looking for. And they're going to actually pass that 15 car now, a lap car of Rhett McBride here up against the wall. But LeVere looking to have some troubles. I've seen him a couple times. They're stuck on that bottom lane, and he really just can't hang on. However, the caution flag is out. The 57, Ryan Vaughn, is in the wall, down the back straightaway. This is going to bring out another caution. And what happened here? Several cars involved. I'm going to take a look at the replay. Looking like a self-spin from Ryan Vaughn. Actually, no, this goes back. Another car had issues right behind him. Taking a look through, that was Jonathan Cadell. Had issues, got loose, actually went down to the apron in turn 1, tried to get on the binders, tried to lock it up, could not do so, got up into the outside wall. He spun just as the 57 of Ryan Vaughn spun by himself off of turn 2, something that we saw earlier happened to Dwayne Vincent, and Vaughn collecting other cars that were around him, including the 66 and the 58 of Justin Wilson, and that's going to put us under another caution flag.
Yeah, Ryan Vaughn, that's very reminiscent of Dwayne Vincent's spin. It happened just about at the same exact point in the racetrack, possibly even to the inch. And so Ryan Vaughn goes around, and that collects Brian Harvey and Justin Wilson. Harvey almost had it missed, and then Wilson got in the back of him. But 3 cars, those 3 getting some damage. Cadell also getting damage, hitting the outside wall, as a couple of guys making their way down pit road, including CJ LeVere. I see Snyder down there, Bill Tomer, Doug Roth, Steve Gottschalk. CJ LeVere actually just missed his stall, and Parker Kligerman's going to take advantage of this as well and avoid staying out. He comes down pit road, and it looks like pretty much only the top 7 or 6 ended up staying out.
Yeah, we saw some shuffled strategy there. Snyder was down, Kligerman was down, Gottschalk coming down pit road as well. Also, you mentioned LeVere. This is going to put us on some various tire and fuel strategies as the laps continue to wind down again. We just passed the halfway point about 10 or so laps ago. This could shake things out. Possibly some strategy being played by the crews and the crew chiefs up on those pit boxes down on pit lane, trying to give their driver an advantage possibly. So Jose Gonzalez being shown your leader right now. Rhett McBride is going to get the wave around. He lucks out from that. He just lost his lap after making an untimely pit stop. He's back on the lead lap. So 15 cars catching a break. Again, currently working lap 63 of 107. It's been an interesting night, a lot of storylines. But right now it is 26 Gonzalez sitting up front. But a lot of fast cars behind him trying to work their way through the field, including that 07 of Kligerman, who had those issues down pit road.
Yeah, and Kligerman, that last run, it was a pretty short run, but he found his way, working his way up from about 15th to 9th. And Kligerman, after that pit stop, will be restarting in 9th. So that's what you call a good call. If you get 4 tires and you only lose a couple positions, you would take that as a big plus. He took 4 tires, and he's in the same spot that he was running in. So certainly the call for a lot of these guys to make, it was the right call to make. Guy Snyder will be restarting the 8th position, and Rich Jett, solid run, will be restarting in the 7th position. And looking through the field right now, now Jose Gonzalez, who's up there leading the race, he's in a good spot where he'll be able to get away from these guys, and if they're able to chase him down, their tires will probably be equalized by then. So I wouldn't worry about Gonzalez. I would worry about fuel, but one thing to point out is that I believe Justin Wilson may have pulled it behind the wall. Yes, he has. Justin Wilson, now he made the chase with that win at Richmond, got all the way up to 5th in points entering tonight, and after that wreck has decided to park his vehicle, just too much damage to come around and run more laps with.
The lights are off on that Ford First Racing Mustang pace car, so we're going to look for the green flag next time around to take lap 66. Let's take this moment again to talk about another one of our great sponsors at ETV Live, and that is Inside Sim Racing, sponsoring the Thursday night Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, so the nationwide series to this. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all the news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation auto racing games for PCs and the Xbox Crowd, from steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at www.isrtv.com. This time, the restart's going to be a little bit different. It's not the 16 of Steve Ritter leading us to the green flag. It is Gonzalez. Remember, here on iRacing, the leader has from when the pace car goes down pit road till the throw of the green flag to go whenever he wants, and that's why you'll see them playing various strategies, going at various times to try to get the best jump. We're working off 4 pace cars down. Gonzalez goes right away. Green flag is out. Steve Ritter gets loose, almost gets up into the outside wall. He'll hang on for the second spot. Chad Cole now under attack by the 2 of Ronnie Potts, side by side for third. Potts trying to pull away, and now we have a caution. Big wreck on the restart. The 12 car, Douglas Wyatt, in the wall, was running in the 7th position. Not happy on the radio, asking who was on his outside. We're going to take a look at the replay. Looks like 2 guys not really giving each other a lot of room on that restart. The 12 of Wyatt squeezing the 27 car of Guy Snyder into the wall. So the 12 Douglas Wyatt just didn't give that 27 enough room, and 27 car evidently turned left, ended up taking out the 12 after getting loose by getting put in the wall. So 12 went into the wall, 27 slid up, got into the wall, and how about that? The 07 car of Parker Kligerman is involved in the incident, along with the 45 of Cale Dresbach.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Kligerman and everyone else involved in this. Guy Snyder in the chase, getting a lot of damage in this one. Bill Tomer getting a lot of damage. And this wreck really starts on the restart. Snyder goes 3 wide on the high side. However, it was only 3 wide for a moment. Rich Jet cleared the 12 of Wyatt pretty quickly. And before they even got to the start-finish line, they were 2 wide. Only Wyatt not giving room to the outside car, even though he had the entire bottom. And so it would not surprise me too much if they assign the 12 the blame for this wreck. Of course, Snyder turning back down the track after getting into the wall, so it depends on how they read that. But that's a hard wreck for Wyatt, and it takes out a lot of competitive race cars up here. So really an avoidable wreck, tough break for a lot of these guys. Kligerman was in a good spot to be able to work his way back toward the front. Certainly wrong place at the wrong time there. Dresbach also, a lot of damage in this one. And that's a few chase contenders right there being taken out, as well as maybe the favorite to win once Dwayne Vincent was out of the race.
And definitely just another curveball thrown in at the Kansas Speedway. We know it would be an interesting race based on if it was anything like the Sprint Cup Series that we saw over the weekend. Obviously a tough racetrack, but several big things going on tonight. Chad Cole is now back to the 4th spot, having a strong night. Obviously fastest car, the 07 Kligerman involved. Dwayne Vincent, points leader, entering tonight, having some issues. He is multiple laps down, 10 laps down in 22nd spot. Is really going to throw a big shakeup in the points again. I mean, it just continues to get stranger and stranger, and that proves just how hard this championship is going to be, because 10 races, keeping your nose clean, some things that are out of your control, and that was just one of those racing deals for some of those guys. Take a moment now to talk about iLeagueRace.com. iLeagueRace.com is a one-stop shop for iRacing leagues looking for a total website and points management, custom scoring protocols, complete scheduling and management of series and events, even a blog setup to recap your race. iLeague Race also provides driver and team signups with integration of APIs such as scoring tickers and points update. If you have an iRacing league, you need iLeagueRace.com. Check it out, www.iLeagueRace.com. I know if you go on the Real Sim Racing website, which is realsimracing.com for this series, they also use that, so definitely a good system going on over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And on a related note, I just want to take note of Jose Gonzalez here. I almost forgot he's actually top 5 in points right now. Now, he wasn't... he didn't make all the races in the first 26, and so when he made that chase, he was able to catch back up, take what he had lost by not showing up a few of these weeks. Now he actually has a win on the year. Right now he's looking pretty good with about 38, 39 laps to go, but now he's 6th in points right now. Wilson is 5th, and he had his problems, so he's going to gain a spot on that if things don't change. Ronnie Potts 4th in points, running in the top 5. That's a spot that he could try to catch and take right there. CJ LeVere comes into this race only 10 points ahead of Jose Gonzalez, so we've seen CJ LeVere having some problems right now, being shown in the 10th position. And of course, Chad Cole would lose quite a bit of points if he finishes about where he has run, and if Jose wins the race, and with Dwayne Vincent having problems. This really is going to pile a few of these guys a lot closer due to Dwayne Vincent's spin and among other things happening. So Jose knows that he has a lot to gain, and he is going for it. And him leading this restart puts him in an advantage to get back to that high side quickly and try to just move out in front of these guys. But Chad Cole, after getting the wall early on, has made his way up to the 4th position, and he has joined the fray here. And Rich Jet, actually give a call to Rich Jet. The 36 car currently being shown in the 6th position has done a good job of avoiding wrecks. We've seen a few guys here now who weren't here before avoiding the wrecks and advancing with attrition. Another one of those guys at 25 and Nick Silver restarting the race in 5th, but Jose Gonzalez will lead him down to this restart as the pace car comes in, and Jose goes quite early, really aggressive on these restarts as the battle will be on for the 2nd and 3rd position here as Jose jumps out.
Gonzalez not waiting for anybody on that restart for sure, gets going, and now the battle is on for 2nd. Ritter pushing up the track a little bit loose, and now wrecking in the back. Caution flag is back out. Smoke off of turn number 2. It is the 04 of Mike King involved in that incident. A lot of cars making good moves to get around that, but another quick caution here. Looking like a self-spin. I don't know if he was scared because 04 Mike King saw 3 wide in front of him, and similar to the 2 cautions so far tonight, just lost the handle on that car off of turn number 2. Tried to keep it off the wall, just got that right side into it, was sideways in front of the racetrack, and managed to not collect anybody else. And a good job by him of keeping that out of other cars, not involving anybody else. He didn't make contact with anybody else. 2 cars ended up wrecking, avoiding him, being the 10 of John Abbott, who got into the 66, and the 10 car up into the catch fencing. Heavy damage to that car, along with the 66 of Brian Harvey.
Yeah, that wreck all started the same way it started with Dwayne Vincent. These guys just losing grip as they're on the throttle there, coming through 1 and 2. That certain transition in the track, that has taken out 3 different drivers this race, one of which being our points leader. Certainly a difficult place on this track. And Mike King is also another one of our chase drivers, went into this race 9th in points. And that what happened with John Abbott after the fact was they were all clear of the wreck, and the 10 and the 66 was coming back onto the surface, and the 10 was in the middle of the track, and they just never saw each other. And that sends the 10 hard into the outside wall way after the wreck, just destroying that 10 car. And Brian Harvey already had damage much earlier in the race, I believe, looking at his vehicle, but sustained some more, certainly. So that was a freaky rare occurrence occurring in turn 3 after the fact. Both those cars off the track. And the guys down pit road right now are just a couple cars fixing damage. Snyder's fixing damage, and the 04 of Mike King are fixing damage.
Well, I can guarantee you that the 10 of John Abbott probably not too happy with that incident. Just 2 drivers. You get around that wreck, you don't think to kind of keep an eye out, and maybe just a lapse in concentration is then going to put them back into the to the garage. So that was a very strange incident. Mike King talking on the radio with his crew, calling the spin rather strange. He didn't jump back on the gas, but he said it just kept going around, couldn't get a hold of it. So another interesting, I mean, we've seen that, what, 4 times now in turn number 2. Obviously a very slick corner and a tough one for sure. Speaking about Inside Sim Racing TV, we will have Darren Ganji from ISR TV on tomorrow night's Rewind BS and Back Talk radio show. Just a little information about that. Join the Cowboy, JD Webb, Jimmy North, and me, the whole crew, Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for an hour of Rewind, looking back at previous broadcast events, guest interviews, drama, and topics too hot to touch. Then they ramp it up in the BS and Back Talk segment with thoughts and opinions on some of the hot topics in the online racing arena. It's fun and entertaining. No rules, no BS. The Rewind BS and Back Talk, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night on ETV Live Radio. So good to have those guys in, talking to them. So make sure you tune in for that.
Yeah, always entertaining to listen to. I highly recommend checking it out. High entertainment value with that. And actually, I want to give a call out to the number 60. Actually, as the car just blew up on the track, Cale Dressback, I believe. The number 45, Cale Dressback, he is smoking on the racetrack. That's going to hurt his chances to finish this race. As Cale involved in a couple of wrecks, unfortunately, his motor goes at this point, and he will be making his way toward pit road. But before the restart, I just want to give a shout out to John Wilco. The number 62 car, John Wilco, having a rough outing right now, currently shown a number of laps down in 20th out of the 29 cars here tonight. However, he's running a special paint scheme. He got married over the weekend 2 days ago, October 5th. And so I just want to say congratulations, John, and congratulations, Robin. I wish you all the best. I know John for many years been sim racing for quite a while. I think it goes back for me running with him at Simtel Racing and then all the way to Ascors, and now he finds himself running iRacing at the Real Sim Racing League. And John is one of those good guys, and always lends a helping hand. He was actually the car owner for a good friend of mine for a while. And so, John, we wish you all the best.
Definitely, for sure. Well, we're looking for the green flag and try to take another shot at this. It seems like the restarts have been fairly chaotic, to say the least, the last times we've tried to get this thing back going green. So we're going to see how they negotiate it this time by. Gonzalez went right on the pace car last time by. Does he play any games, and will he change it up this time? The field working through turns 3 and 4. The Ford First Racing Mustang pace car diving down the pit road. The 26 Gonzalez waiting. There he goes. He's going to take off. Green flag in the air. Well played restart by Gonzalez. He's going to open up about a 6-car length lead. Now we're side by side for second. The 8 Chad Cole trying to put the pressure on Steve Ritter going into 1. Ritter old at the track. The 8 Chad Cole really drives it into the corner. Has to get out of the gas. He picks up the spot, but now the crossover by Steve Ritter, and Ritter's going to pick up the second spot, and now Potts going around Cole.
Yeah, Chad Cole under attack for that third position from Potts. Now you could run the low side here pretty easily on a restart because when the cars are not up to speed, that high line's not as much of an advantage. However, Chad Cole just threw it in a lot deeper than he needed to, ended up losing the spot that he gained. So well played by Ritter to get that spot back. Now Cole and Ritter nose to tail for the second position as Gonzalez is way out there. Changed up the restart that time, went later than he had been. But Ritter looking a little bit more aggressive on this restart. He's got a little more earlier speed. It seems like he's been a little bit cautious the last couple where he just hasn't quite been up to the pace of some of these guys in the early laps. Just takes a few laps for him to get into that rhythm. But certainly right there this run as they're side by side actually for the 4th position. That's the number 2 of Potts working underneath the 36 of Jet. But Jet looks like he's going to get clear of Potts, and Brett McBride tries to throw it outside of the 2 car, the 15 and the 2 side by side, going down into turn number 3.
Yeah, the 36 and the 2, I was taking a look, they were side by side for about 1.5 laps there. The 2 almost was able to hang on, but it will be the 36 Rich Jet prevailing. Now the 2 Ronnie Potts under attack from CJ LaVere. That battle going on for the 6th position. Right now your leader is Jose Gonzalez again. He now has a 4/10 of a second lead over Steve Ritter in the 2nd spot. Then Cole, Jet, and McBride round up your top 5 at the moment. And in all the chaos, 12 cars remain on the lead lap at this point in the race. 17th position on back, 10 plus laps down. And this can also really shake things out because of everybody else's misfortunes. Dwayne Vincent is really minimizing the damage. Again, 16-point lead coming into tonight. Cole has not led a lap yet, so Dwayne Vincent will hang on to the point lead if the race were to end right now. So Dwayne Vincent, after a rough night out at the racetrack, maybe catching a little bit of a break with everybody else's misfortunes because he is slowly chipping off positions as drivers go to the garage, and he may exit tonight, most likely, it looks like, hanging on to that points lead. So damage repair for Dwayne Vincent, but he's doing a pretty good job at salvaging everything he can.
Absolutely, and actually Dwayne in 17th, but the 2 cars in front of him are both off of the racetrack, so it won't be just another 5 or 6 laps, and Dwayne will be finding himself in 15th position, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Attrition has just really come into play in the last 20-30 laps, and so Dwayne will be working his way up to 15th. The only car that Dwayne has to worry about on his lap is John Wilco, but it looks like Wilco giving him space. So Dwayne looking to capitalize on everyone else's misfortunes as looking towards the front. Ritter in the 16 car has really crept up to the 26 of Gonzalez. The battle for the lead only separated by about a car length. Jose running way high on the racetrack, and Ritter is right there looking to capitalize. Ritter looking for his 3rd win on the year, Gonzalez looking for his 2nd. Both of these drivers are in the chase looking to capitalize on Dwayne Vincent's misfortunes tonight.
26 in the wall, 16 in the wall as well. Throws it into 16 Ritter into the left rear of Gonzalez. They hang on for now, and now they're side by side in 1 and 2. The 16, Steve Ritter with the advantage now down the back straightaway on lap 83. He's going to clear him, and Steve Ritter, with a gutsy move, is now going to move up to the lead. And now here comes Chad Cole with a run on the 26. Gonzalez back in the wall, side by side for second. Jose Gonzalez issues, and he's going to go all the way back to the third spot. And now he also has Rich Jet on his back bumper. Tough lap for Gonzalez there. Something may be wrong with that car, pushing up the track a little bit, not off pace, but a tough break for him, and that's going to put Steve Ritter into the lead after a really close call in 1 and 2.
Yeah, anytime you get into the wall, puts yourself in a position where you could have hurt something in the front suspension, and it really changes the handling of your car. And so Jose might have bent something the wrong way getting into the wall one of those times. Certainly not up to the pace that he was, as he's under attack right now by the 36 of Rich Jet, who's really come alive as we've gone through this race. Not only has attrition helped him, but he's passing cars who are running up front all race regardless. So that 36 car is looking mighty racy here tonight.
Another car that's been fast all night long is 16 car Steve Ritter in practice. Third fastest, qualified on the pole. He led us through our first 3 restarts, including the green flag at the beginning of the race. Other than that, he's been on the front row for every single restart, and he's currently leading the race. So when you're fast, you're fast. Steve Ritter looking for a good night out at the racetrack coming into the night. 10th in the point, 62 points back, really needing a lot of momentum, looking for his first win of the season. And no better time to get it than when the chase is starting to heat up, and he really needs as many points as he can. However, Chad Cole, 1 point behind him, or 1 position behind him, making it 1 point behind him in that second spot. Not going to pick up much except for points on the people around him in the standings right now. Taking a look, out of the 107 laps, we are on lap 87. So this time by the start-finish line, Steve Ritter is going to come by to take 20 laps to go. Will we stay green to the end? Again, still 12 cars on the lead lap. Does anything have anything for Steve Ritter as Chad Cole and Gonzalez try to chip away at that lead of 0.4 of a second?
And you know, moments ago I mentioned that Jose Gonzalez might have bent his car up to where he knocked some speed out of it. However, he got his rhythm back, and right now the 26 Gonzalez working closer to the 8 of Cole, as those two are nose to tail for the second position. And certainly over the course of a 20-lap run, were we to stay green, things change a lot and people come and go, and these cars probably will not let Steve Ritter get too far out ahead of them. But Gonzalez looks like he's not in bad shape, but it's certainly going to be pretty difficult for him to be able to clear the 8 car of Chad Cole. But with only 12 cars on the lead lap, other than a handful of cars that are damaged just trying to finish the race, I do think this race does have a green flag finish look to it. But right now, Steve Ritter with a half a second lead on the second place man in points, Chad Cole.
And definitely, these guys are running so incredibly close to the wall. I don't know if they think they're in trucks at Eldora and they're using the wall to help them turn. But, I mean, Ritter's getting within inches of it, and Gonzalez is letting the rear end of that car tap it in 1 and 2. So they are really going up there trying to find as much speed as they can. I mean, they are riding the wall, the 8 car, Cole in the wall for a little bit longer than he wanted. That allows Gonzalez to pick up a couple more seconds, really driving these cars at 110%. All of these guys side by side for 7th. It is the 25 Nick Silver going to the inside of the 2 of Ronnie Potts. Again, battle for 7th position right here in turns 3 and 4. I do believe 25 can't make it stick. Silver's going to pull back in behind Potts and try to regroup, reset, and go for it again. We'll take an eye on these guys in the top 10, shuffling positions, trying to pick up whatever points they can.
Yeah, it's a nice job for Nick Silver to find himself in the top 10. He was only 24th in practice, picked it up to 18th in qualifying, and he's done a good job of avoiding all the wrecks that he's seen. And so right now he finds himself racing 4th man in points. That is Ronnie Potts in the number 2. So Silver up to the 8th position. Rich Jet actually gets a little bit sideways out of turn number 4. Or actually, no, he catches the wall out of turn number 4, which sends him a little bit sideways, and loses the spot to the number 4. That is CJ LaVere. And so LaVere picking up a spot there, finds himself in the 4th position, or actually takes over the 5th position from Rich Jet, who falls back to 6th. So LaVere moving forward. We've seen him struggle a little bit earlier, but starting to find his rhythm, starting to get some spots.
Some of these guys just desperately trying to get as close to that wall as they can without without getting into it too hard. And there's still a lot to lose. If you look right now, the top 10 cars on the lead lap within 4 seconds of each other, 5 of them within a second of each other, around 4th to 8th position. So these guys really close together. We can still see a fair amount of shuffling go on in these closing laps of the race as we approach 15 laps to go. Steve Ritter 7/10 now over the second place car, which is Chad Cole. Cole and Gonzalez have been 2-3 the last handful of laps since we went back green, and everything sorted out there with Gonzalez losing the lead and losing that second position to Cole as well on that one tough lap. Haven't really been able to make up any ground. Actually, all they've done is lost ground, because Steve Ritter's last lap, he ran a 31.406, Cole a 31.419, and Gonzalez a 31.377. So Gonzalez getting the laps done, but does he have enough time? He's really going to have to start picking up half a tenth or tenth if he wants to catch Ritter in these closing laps, assuming there is no caution flag that'll throw just yet another twist into this race in the closing laps.
Yeah, Gonzalez is a little bit faster than Cole as we see him creep up. That 26 car just moves right up to the 8 car's back bumper, coming through 1 and 2 just about every lap. He's trying to time it to where he could get a good enough run to complete that pass low. If he just throws it under the 8 car of Cole, it'll be really difficult for him to be able to maintain that momentum and clear him and pass him. He really needs a mistake or some lost momentum on the 8 car's part. So I do think the 26 looks to be the fastest car on the track right now, but he's getting held up. And this has brought the 15 of Rhett McBride, who's really moving as well. And he's caught up, and now he's going to have to find a way to get around the 2 in front of him. And so Cole is in the spot that he wants to be in right now. Actually, he's gained a tenth on Steve Ritter the last time by, but they have 7/10 of a second to make up. 2nd through 4th, all right together.
Yeah, half a car length to a car length between those 3 cars. Cole, Gonzalez, McBride putting on a show here at this racetrack, trying to work together, and they've cut down Steve Ritter's lead to 6/10 of a second. So are they possibly trying to make the draft work? It doesn't look like any of them are really trying to step out and make an effort for the lead. Actually, now here goes the 15 McBride to the inside on the 26 of Gonzalez. Maybe possibly though the 18 or the 8 rather in this 26 trying to just kind of stay in line, ride, and make up some time on Ritter. This last time by the stripe they lost another tenth, so it's a tough feat. So unless Ritter's car really goes away in the closing laps, it's going to be a tough thing to do because we are less than 10 laps to go.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez knows just how much of a run he needs to be able to complete the pass on the 8 of Cole, and he simply hasn't gotten as much of a run as he knows he needs. And so he's staying in line in parts where he's got a little bit of a run, but not able to use it to its full advantage. And so Cole right now doing all he can to hold on to that 2nd spot. He knows it would be a big points day. He would make up about 14 points on the evening, if not give or take 1 or 2. But Gonzalez looking really racy right now, as well as the 15 McBride, who's caught right back up to these guys after making the charge low and it not working and and losing a couple of car lengths. But he's right back there with them now as McBride actually gets a little bit too much through 3 and 4, grabs the wall. But the race is on for 2nd place, and they are running out of time because coming across the stripe this time, Steve Ritter takes 8 laps to go as the 15 works underneath the 26 of Gonzalez, and they're side-by-side for the 3rd position.
Side by side through turns 1 and 2, the 15 McBride just can't make it stick on that inside lane. Is going to have to fall in back behind Jose Gonzalez off of turn number 2, and may try it again here in 3. Takes a look to the inside, is going to pull back up, gets a little bit of a run, and it's really all about timing. All these cars are so even with each other. You take a look, they're all letting off at the same point, they're all getting back in the gas at the same point. It's really about trying to get that perpetual motion, try to maybe back off a little earlier and getting the gas a little sooner to try to get a run, and timing it as the 26 Gonzalez getting right on that left rear of the 8 of Chad Cole. Again, still battling these guys just feet apart for that 2nd spot. However, this is really only benefiting Steve Ritter. He's actually opened up an 8/10 of a second lead now as these guys continue to battle, and they're going to come by this time by the stripe to take lap number 102, 6 laps to go.
Yeah, you can see that 26 car just gets such a run through the center of the corner every time, but just getting that run is not enough here. You just need such a momentum pull to be able to clear somebody. at this racetrack, with the high side getting so much momentum off of the corner. And Cole's feeling the pressure and gets into the wall, but Gonzalez not able to capitalize. Just had his car a little bit too high, was behind the 8 of Cole, unable to get low. And the 26 opens the door for the 15 because he doesn't want to give up the high side. And a little bit of contact. 15 of McBride gets sideways but saves it, and they will still stay green here.
Good save by McBride to avoid a caution that possibly would have ended the race. Now the 8, Chad Cole, loose off of turn 2. Chad Cole hangs on down to the inside on the apron. He's going to hang on to it. Chad Cole going up the racetrack now, nearly in front of traffic. Late race troubles for Chad Cole, and with Dwayne Vincent in 15th, Chad Cole may have just lost an opportunity to make up a lot of points in the championship standings, as now he is back here in the battle for the 8th spot. And wow, another strange turn of events. Chad Cole definitely did not want to see that. A lot better than putting it nose first into the inside wall, but a tough break in the closing laps for sure, as Chad Cole trying to capitalize as much as he can on Vincent's misfortunes, losing several spots in that mistake.
It's just so easy to jump over that edge and lose control of the car here. You are on the limit of those tires, and that's what happens when you're pushing it for all it's worth. And what that does, as we hit 3 laps to go, the race will end if the caution flag comes out. So that basically means is that Cole, who is faded to the 8th position after a good save down the backstretch, will not be able to get the points lead unless there's a wreck in front of him. But this solidifies Dwayne Vincent will have the points lead after this event, unless something drastic happens here in the next couple of laps. But I tell you what, that 16 of Steve Ritter, he takes the line. It is 2 laps to go for the 16 of Ritter, that Coca-Cola Chevrolet SS, and the 26 of Gonzalez is about a second back, closing in very slightly, but certainly does not have enough time to make it happen. Next time by will be the white flag. Steve Ritter looking for his 3rd win on the year, looking to make up all the points that he can.
Definitely just 1 1/4 cycles to go as that 16 Chevrolet SS Coca-Cola sponsored car you mentioned. Here comes Ritter, the white flag in the air at the Kansas Speedway. Steve Ritter looking for his first win in the 2013 campaign. Entered tonight 10th in the points, 62 backs, actually tied for 9th. He needed to get some top placing finishes if he wanted to make up any ground on our leaders. Our leaders having a relatively rough night. He's going to make up some spots and obviously work his way up in the championship standings, because Steve Ritter, coming off of turn number 4, is going to go to victory lane and pick up his first win of the season.
Jose Gonzalez bringing home 2nd, and nice points for Red McBride, not in the chase, comes home in 3rd. CJ Lavera with a great points night in 4th, ahead of the guys in front of him in points. Rich Jett comes home with a top 5. Ronnie Potts a solid 6th place finish.
3 wide at the line. I'm just taking a look at this off turn 2. The 25 of Nick Silver went down to the grass off of turn 4 to try to get an extra spot. Got blocked by the 2 of Potts. Potts ends up crossing the line in front of him. 25 car making contact, and the 8 of Chad Cole is there on the top. So, I mean, they drove those things to the end. What a finish.
Yeah, that was a drag race, but a drag race with contact. The 2 of Potts just holding on, and he knew that those points were oh so important as he is up there in that battle. And a good run for Nick Silver to get 7, just short of the 2 of Ronnie Potts, though.
And definitely, well, it is Steve Ritter in victory lane. We're going to go to a quick commercial break and come back to wrap things up and talk to our top 3 finishing drivers. This is ETV Live's live coverage of the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back here at the Kansas Speedway for the post-race show with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. Steve Ritter taking home the win. However, I am down here on a pit road with the driver of the number 15, Rhett McBride, taking home a top 3 finish. Rhett, walk us through your race. How did it go from behind the wheel?
It went pretty good. I mean, I slipped back a little bit at the front at the beginning of the race, and kind of ran around for a while, just clicking off laps, and came down pit road and got a penalty for passing under yellow, and just had to start from the back and work my way back up through there.
And definitely, we're going to pick up your third top 5 on the season, not in contention for the chase for the championship, just looking to knock off some solid finishes and trying to get that victory that's been eluding you so far this season. What kind of confidence does this give you going into the next 6 races? Obviously, I'm assuming, will you guys take more chances, not having to worry about points, just trying to pick up a W?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the mindset now. I thought we would get one, had a good chance of getting one here, but just made a little slip up in qualifying, and being out front tonight in clean air was if you were out there, you were pretty safe. But yeah, for the rest of the season, I'm just trying to get wins, and not get in the way of the guys that are trying to do that without getting in the way of the guys that are fighting for the championship.
And definitely, we saw several incidents off of turn 2, some drivers just losing the handle on it. Did you notice anything treacherous about that corner?
Yeah, I mean, if you overdrive the exit there, if you're out of position, it can definitely be pretty slick coming off of there. It's, this place you've got to be like a machine hitting your marks here, for sure. And if you miss it by a little bit, it's costing you big time on your lap times. So 2 was definitely a little slick off. If you were pinching it down low and trying to get a kind of an arc off of there, it could get loose with you. But yeah, you just had to be careful on that exit.
And definitely looking forward to next week, Charlotte. What in your opinion are the odds of us seeing that 15 in victory lane?
Oh, I'd love to do it. I've been trying all year. We've had I switched some equipment in the beginning of the year, and it's taken me halfway through the season to get this wheel pedal combination dialed in, but it's getting a lot better, and we're starting to hit our stride. Really just trying to get set up for next year, but yeah, I'd love to get a win at Charlotte. I love that track, and it'll be real racy. It'll be a lot of fun. Just wanted to say I had a lot of fun up there racing Jose at the end. I know we got together, but I think it was just, hard racing. I don't think it was anything intentional. But yeah, we'll try to get a win next week.
And definitely, well, hey, congrats on your 3rd place finish. Who do you want to thank for it?
I'd just like to thank my teammate at PSR Racing, Mark Bratcher. Want to thank Inside Sim Racing TV for sponsoring the series. Also Hippie's Paint Shop, and my sponsor GT Omega Racing.com. You can go there and check them out. Get in touch with Leo, and he will hook you up on a nice sim rig for yourself.
Well, hey, thanks for putting on a good show for us, and good luck next week.
Thank you, man.
And now I do believe, Harrison, you're down there on pit road with our 2nd place finisher, Jose Gonzalez.
Yeah, Jose Gonzalez with a great points night, able to move himself up to 4th in points on a tiebreaker, with Ronnie Potts currently shown in 5th. But Jose, saw you were one of the drivers who came from the back of the field, and so qualifying 21st, just what was it like as you moved your way through the field?
Yeah, well, took me a little while to get used to that high line. I didn't get much practice in, so I was like, the only time I practiced, I was practicing the low line, and when I go into the server, I see everybody up top, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So I screwed up my qualifying lap, and I passed quite a few guys, and I took advantage on the first caution, I believe it was, with like 20 laps or something, and I went ahead and took 2 tires. I think I was 14th, and I came out 3rd or 2nd or 3rd, and I got my track position like that. I thought there was no way I would pass 13 cars. I mean, it's not easy to pass, especially if somebody protects the high line, and you gotta wait for mistakes. And these drivers up front don't make many mistakes, so I made mine. But it was very fun. It's a driver's kind of track. You gotta work your way to the front.
Yeah, we saw with about 20 laps to go, you got stuck in the wall a couple of times. We were wondering if you received any damage from that affected the handling of the car. At first, I thought that you were off the pace because of it, but then you really made a run back to charge your way, looking to really get up there and race for the lead.
Yeah, I screwed up. Somebody talked to me just before the turn, and I lost my concentration, and I smacked the wall, and I lost 2 positions. And but once I was behind Chad, he's a teammate, so I was just falling behind him and trying to get to Steve. And I figured if we got together and draft a little bit, we can get him. But I saw that Chad's rear was a little damaged. And so I figured I would pass him and try to catch Steve back, but the 15 was right behind me, and he's a great racer, and I knew if I passed Chad, he would be right behind me and make his move also. So I figured let's just try to get to Steve and protect second and third spot. Chad made a mistake; he hit the wall, and he actually let me go on the high side, and but I think he thought he was going to hit me, and so it's unfortunate he had to fall back maybe to 8th spot or something like that. But yeah, I don't know if I got I heard Red talking about he got together with me or something, but I didn't notice. He's a great racer and very clean racer. It's good to race with him.
And certainly after tonight's second place finish, you came into tonight 48 behind the leader, up to only 35 behind the leader. And so certainly you feel like you have a shot going into these final 6 races?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I always have a chance. I'm always up there, and I don't see why I can't get the good luck and come up front maybe once or twice, and yeah, I think I got a good chance.
Yeah, certainly the complexion of the title has changed almost every race here, and gaining a lot of points tonight, and on pretty much everybody that was in front of you. And so after a strong second place run, who would you like to thank? Who makes it happen for you?
I'd like to thank JD Webb, the cowboy, because he's taught me everything I know about life, especially about tequila.
Oh man, I'm not sure how good it is to have the cowboy as a mentor. But that's Jose Gonzalez, our second place finisher tonight. And I believe Evan has caught up with tonight's winner.
And that's right, we're down here in victory lane. Steve Ritter taking home the win tonight. Steve, congratulations. Talk us through that pass for the lead there on lap 83, where you were mere inches, if anything, off the back bumper of that number 26, and then you drove away from there. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to take a mistake by Jose. Being out front, like a couple of the other guys said, protecting that high line is what it's all about here. And I think he just fluttered a little bit getting in there, and I got the car underneath him and was able to drive it off. It's tough here, man. It's so loose once you get out of that high line that you almost can't keep your foot in it.
And definitely, we saw you up front pretty much all race long. You qualified on the pole. You were either leading us to the restart or on the outside row on the restart. How was the car all night long? We saw a lot of handling issues off of turn 2. Running up front pretty much put you in front of all that chaos. How was the track condition from your perspective? Because we did see lots of drivers struggling with the handling of the cars.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I was not looking forward to this race, and if you'd have told me I'd have finished where I finished, I'd have called you a liar. But Parker Kligerman, I actually have to give a shout out to him because when he got in front of me, I was watching what he was doing, and I was doing something different. So I started doing what he was doing, and it worked. So I got to thank him for showing me the line at the end there when he got in front of me, because I started running his line, and the car got a lot better.
That was the next point. The 07, obviously, of Kligerman got caught up in some issues late on in the going and finished mid-pack. Looked like he had a fast car as well. You obviously had a fast car, which is why you're in victory lane. How do you think that battle would have gone down if he was there till the end of the race?
I think he would have kicked my ass. Parker does this for a living in a real car. I sit in my den in a computer, you know what I mean? He's the real deal. He's a great racer in real life, and he's a great racer in the sim community, and it's nice to have him here in RSR.
Fair enough. Well, third win on the season. I got news for you. You're now 6th place in the points, 44 back. Talladega still to come. Anything can happen. Obviously a big motivation booster for you and this team. What are your thoughts looking forward to the final 6 races? You think you got a shot at this thing?
I don't know. It's going to take a lot of stuff like what happened tonight. I'm glad we got a good run in, though. I mean, we were, third in the first chase race, and then got caught up in some wrecks in the last 2. And I needed a good run tonight just to get the confidence back and, kind of just feel like we're back in the groove. And it was a good run tonight, and we'll see what happens. I mean, Talladega's a crapshoot. We got Marty coming up too. That could be kind of a crapshoot. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, who makes it happen for you? What shout-outs do you want to throw out there here from Victory Lane?
Obviously, you guys, these broadcasts are fantastic. I watch them during the week, the replays of them, and Bob Earl for sponsoring the series, all the guys at RSR. I want to give a special shout-out to Steve and Nate for officiating these races. That is a thankless job. I've done it, and it is not fun, and they do a fantastic job at it. Obviously, all my teammates, Main Computers, and RaceSkins.com.
Well, hey, congrats on your win. Good luck next week at Charlotte.
Thanks, man.
Well, Harrison, we have a special guest up here in the booth. Jose was talking about him. It's the cowboy, J.D. Webb.
Special guest. I tell you what, Jose Tequila Joe, what a night he had. And all 3 of these guys up here. Kansas, tough track. We learned that last week at the Asphalt Assault Series. But hey, I'm here talking about tomorrow night's radio show, Cowboy. I tell you what, Rick McBride will be joining us tomorrow night. Darren Gandy from Inside Sim Racing. Justin Wilson will be on with us. Lowell Jewell from Bootleg Racing. Ben Brunig joined us with the Sim Pro, the PowerEye Sim Pro Racing League. And, of course, the usual crew, the short track bunch with Eddie Walczyk, Justin Rosenow, Evan Pasoko. And later on in the show, we'll be talking about Jimmy's truck driving experience. You really don't want to miss that show. So that's all tomorrow night, starting at 9 o'clock. And we may be running a little bit late by the looks of things. We got a packed show. So tune in tomorrow night, ETV Live Radio, Rewind, BS, and Back Talk.
There you go. Don't miss it. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, ETV Live Radio. It's always a interesting discussion, especially that last half hour or so, I would say. Harrison, an interesting night, to say the least, here at the Kansas Speedway. A lot of shuffling. Chad Cole looking like he was going to capitalize on Dwayne Vincent's errors, a late race mistake. He's 10 points off of Vincent with the updated standings. LeVere only 28 back now in third. This is going to be a hell of a 6 weeks coming up after tonight.
Yeah, Dwayne Vincent, it could have been a really brutal night for him in the points, but it worked out where he was able to work his way through a lot of attrition because a lot of people struggling with this track tonight, and Dwayne ends up still having a 10-point lead, but a lot of racing to go, a lot of the guys 3rd, 4th, 5th in points, all closing the gap big time. Anything can happen. I would say basically anybody in the top 6 have a realistic shot at making their way to P1 in points. Just have to see where it goes from here.
To our next week, we're going to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's always going to be a great race. And again, some races always on the drivers' minds. Talladega, and lots of guys worried about Martinsville. Some short track beating and banging still to come in the closing weeks. Again, the winner at the end of the season is going to walk away with a VRC Mark II virtual racing seat. That is a simulation racing cockpit designed by championship race car driver Bob Earl. Who better than a real race car driver to design a simulation racing cockpit? After all, he knows what it means to be comfortable in the cockpit. The design features a fully adjustable seat and frame. Additional monitor stand and shifter mounts are sold separately. Proud sponsor of the 2013 Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, a high quality and affordable virtual racing cockpit priced at just $349 plus shipping. Check it out yourself, www.bobearlracing.com. That's going to do it for our coverage from the Kansas Speedway. Again, thanks to JD Webb producing down there in the production hall, Laura Lawson on the cameras, hair things. Thanks for joining me up again here in the booth on another Monday night. My name is Evan Pasoko. We will see you guys next week from Charlotte when we hit race number 5 of the chase.
Network. Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live Sports Radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.